Marcus Rashford went public, finally saying, I want to stay at Barcelona. My desire will be to stay at Barcelona. He said, I'm not a magician, but if I was, my desire will be to stay at Barca. So the message from the player has arrived, clear, strong. He would like to continue at Barcelona, and I always told you this. He would like to continue at Barca, he's very happy at Barca, as a club, as a city, the teammates, the coach, the connection is very good.
Hey everyone, welcome back to United Focus, your home for all the latest Manchester United news, transfer updates and breaking stories from Old Trafford. Today we have got massive developments surrounding Marcus Rashford, Michael Carrick's summer rebuild plans, exciting transfer targets and fresh updates that could completely shape Manchester United's future ahead of their return to Champions League football. The biggest headline right now surrounds Marcus Rashford. According to Fabrizio Romano, Rashford has a very strong desire to remain at Barcelona beyond this season after enjoying a hugely successful loan spell in Spain. The England international has reportedly produced 28 goal contributions since arriving in Catalonia and has become an important player under Hansi Flick. Rashford has openly expressed how much he loves life at Barcelona and believes staying there long-term would be something very special for his career. However, the situation is not straightforward yet. Barcelona still need to make a final decision on whether to activate the €30 million buy option included in the agreement with Manchester United. The Spanish giants are trying to renegotiate the financial structure of the deal because of their ongoing salary and registration issues, while United remain firm in demanding the full fee. Reports suggest Rashford has fully settled into life in Spain after early concerns about his adaptation. He has become one of Barcelona's most creative attacking players, and his performances have impressed both the coaching staff and fans. But despite all the positive signs, the final decision still rests with Barcelona's management and sporting director Deco. If Barcelona hesitate too long, things could become very interesting because other European clubs are monitoring the situation closely. Meanwhile, Michael Carrick and the United hierarchy are preparing for a huge squad rebuild this summer. According to reports, Manchester United have decided that they will make at least 5 signings ahead of their Champions League return. The Sun's detailed breakdown of United's summer priorities is the most comprehensive and the most specific single piece of transfer planning information that has emerged this week. 3 central midfielders, a left-back, a backup striker, potentially a new goalkeeper. That is 5 or 6 additions in a single summer window, a scale of investment and a scale of squad transformation that would be without precedent at this club in the modern era. The 3 central midfielders reflects the specific and urgent reality that Casemiro is leaving. Ugarte is being sold, and Mainu, for all his extraordinary quality, cannot be the only experienced option in the engine room of a squad attempting its first Champions League campaign in years. The names being circled: Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, Sandro Tonali, Adam Wharton, Mateus Fernandes, Joao Gomez and potentially Ederson and Tchouaméni represent a range of profiles and a range of price points that gives the recruitment team flexibility to pursue multiple targets simultaneously and convert whichever combination of deals proves achievable within the budget constraints. The left-back need is the most structurally obvious gap in the current squad, with Malaysia leaving on a free and Dorg expected to be deployed further forward as his career develops. Luke Shaw's injury history means he cannot be relied upon as the sole senior option in a Champions League season where the fixture list demands reliability across 40 or more matches. The backup striker requirement acknowledges the reality that Sesko cannot be the only centre-forward option for a full European campaign, regardless of his extraordinary form this season, and the potential for a quality understudy behind the Slovenian at a reasonable price point addresses the squad depth that Champions League competition demands. In other news, the Maxi Araujo confirmation from Sporting's perspective is the most significant development of the week for United's left-back planning. Exploratory talks have been held with the players' agents. United are described as very interested. They want to find a new long-term replacement for Shaw. Sporting know the interest will be intense and are almost accepting they will have to sell their star left-back this summer if the right offer arrives. Those specific details paint a picture of a transfer that is moving from the aspirational category into the genuine and advanced pursuit category at considerable speed. Araujo's Champions League performances this season, including the two-legged encounter against Arsenal, where he demonstrated quality in transition, defensive solidity, and the kind of overlapping threat that makes him equally dangerous going forward as he is reliable going back, have elevated his status across Europe and attracted the multiple Premier League approaches that have been widely reported. The release clause is €80 million, but Sporting may accept €50 million if the deal is structured appropriately, and the relationship between clubs is handled intelligently. United's director of football, Jason Wilcox, has been personally engaged in left-back planning across multiple targets this summer, and Araujo at 26, with the specific combination of defensive quality and attacking contribution that Carrick's system demands, represents the most convincing single left-back option available in the current market. The comparison to the Bruno Fernandes pathway through Sporting is one that United supporters will find both encouraging and slightly unsettling given Ugarte's journey through the same club. But the honest assessment is that Araujo's profile is considerably closer to the attacking, progressive, technically gifted mould that made Bruno such a successful acquisition than to the pure defensive midfielder profile that failed to translate for Ugarte at Old Trafford. Strahinja Pavlovic at AC Milan is one of the most cost-efficient and most practically achievable centre-back targets that United have been linked with, and the Gazzetta dello Sport report placing United above all other clubs in the race for the Serbian defender is encouraging news for a recruitment team that needs defensive reinforcement without spending the kind of premium fees being demanded for the very top centre-back targets. Milan paid RB Salzburg just £15 million to sign Pavlovic in 2024 and could realise substantial profit even at a fee well below what the established elite centre-backs in the European market command. At 23 years old, Pavlovic is at exactly the right age for a significant step up to a Champions League competing club. His physical profile, standing at 6'2" with the combination of aerial dominance and the ability to defend in space, addresses the specific fitness and resilience criteria that United have identified as essential for the centre-back addition this summer, after the defensive injury crisis of the second half of this season. Chelsea are also interested, according to reports, which creates the competitive element that could accelerate United's timeline if they want to secure the player before the bidding environment intensifies. Elsewhere, Mateus Fernandes' asking price of £84 million from West Ham has significantly complicated a pursuit that appeared to be advancing smoothly based on the weeks of agent-level discussions and Bruno Fernandes' personal recommendation. The Hammers want to keep their star regardless of relegation, which reflects both their commercial ambitions and their awareness that selling their most impressive performer in a summer of probable squad reconstruction would compound the damage of dropping a division. Whether United are willing to reach or approach £84 million for a midfielder who has had one impressive Premier League season, rather than the sustained European-level track record that price point implies, is the critical question that will determine whether this specific deal happens. PSG's interest, given they are Champions League finalists who will have their own significant budget and their own pressing need to rebuild after the tournament in Budapest, creates a genuine bidding dynamic that West Ham will use to maximise the fee, regardless of which buyer ultimately prevails. Jason Wilcox's specific admiration for Fernandes from his Southampton scouting experience gives United a personal conviction about the player's quality that goes beyond pure market assessment, but paying £84 million based on one season's evidence is a significant financial commitment that will require Ineos sign-off at the highest level. In other news, Rio Ferdinand's assessment of Senne Lammens is one of the most powerful endorsements a goalkeeper at this club could receive, and the United legend's specific claim that the 23-year-old Belgian could be the club's number one for the next 10 years reflects a conviction about long-term quality that goes well beyond simple praise for a good, recent run of form. Lammens has made 30 appearances in all competitions this season, has kept multiple clean sheets in the most important matches of the campaign, and has produced the kind of composure, command of his area, and shot-stopping quality that gave United the defensive platform their Champions League qualification drive required. Ferdinand specifically praised his cool head in the Sunderland goalless draw, where he made smart saves to keep the result level when United were below their best. The claim that United have saved millions by having Lammens performing at this level for £18 million rather than needing to spend premium fees on a proven goalkeeper is exactly the kind of recruitment insight that justifies the Ineos philosophy of identifying undervalued talent and developing it within a better environment. Whether Lamans at 23 can be United's number one for a decade depends on continued development and continued avoidance of the kind of form dips that affect most goalkeepers at some stage. But Ferdinand's confidence is backed by everything the Belgian has shown this season, and the upward trajectory of his performances is the most compelling evidence available. Luke Shaw's potential World Cup inclusion in Thomas Tuchel's provisional 55-man pool is one of the most personally satisfying subplots of the Carrick era at United, the England fullback having started every game since Carrick took charge and returned to the kind of consistent and reliable form that earned him his first international recognition years ago. Shaw's last England appearance was the Euro 2024 final against Spain, and his Carrick-era revival, starting every match in a back four in his natural left-back position, has been a compelling case study in what the right management and the right system can produce from a player who appeared to be in decline. The World Cup in the summer represents exactly the kind of high-profile international stage that both rewards performance and potentially creates risks for United's own pre-season and early season planning. Peter Schmeichel's earlier observation about preferring United players to rest rather than compete in tournaments reflects the legitimate club concern, but Shaw's ability to represent his country at the biggest stage in football after years of injury and inconsistency is a personal story that deserves celebration regardless of the club-country tension it inevitably creates. The Rashford situation is approaching its resolution point, with Romano confirming 28 goal contributions across the season at Barcelona and a strong personal desire from the player to remain at the Camp Nou beyond this season. The tension between what Rashford wants, which is to stay and win more trophies in Spain, and what Barcelona can financially deliver, which is uncertain given their ongoing constraints around the €30 million option fee and the wage structure, is the defining dynamic of a transfer saga that has been unresolved for months. United's position remains firm. The full fee, no second loan, no negotiation below the agreed price. And if Barcelona cannot meet those terms, Rashford returns for pre-season and United deal with the consequences of having a player on extraordinary wages who would rather be somewhere else, a situation nobody wants but which United are not willing to resolve through financial capitulation that sets a damaging precedent for every future contract or transfer negotiation the club conducts. The 28 goal contributions number that Romano cites is the figure that both Rashford's camp and his potential suitors will reference in any conversation about his market value, because it represents a return that justifies the €30 million Barcelona agreed to pay, and that supports United's conviction that their asking price is fair rather than exploitative. 3 league games left, the summer approaching at extraordinary speed. 5 or 6 signings planned, a permanent manager imminent, Champions League football confirmed, a left-back target confirmed with exploratory talks held, a centre-back target with United at the front of the queue, a midfielder personal terms agreed with Atalanta, the Hodgland 38 million incoming, the Rashford situation approaching resolution, and a squad that has produced the most extraordinary season in this football club's recent history under a manager who deserves every tool and every backing that Ineos can provide. The quiet revolution has delivered. Now the loud